Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, yeah. And it's strange how, not to sound too hippie, but if you don't imagine the change within your head, let's say you have someone that you're mad at, if you can't imagine you two laughing together because it just pisses you off, no matter how many times you forgive him, you haven't actually forgave him. Because if you forgave him, you would have felt grace and forgiveness through the imagination. That's why humans have imagination. And apparently, if you close your eyes and imagine you and your enemy smiling, laughing together, it sparks a change in his heart that if you guys ever do cross paths, it's going to be at a neutral, different energy. This is what Tesla meant by everything's energy, vibration, stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, just think of it, even for the evolution, guys. What the fuck is the imagination? And I'm like, holy shit, if you can imagine yourself forgiving someone you don't like and you guys laughing together, what have you imagined? You've imagined a new archetype where you're better. You're a new I am. You're at like imagining yourself as a millionaire. Now, if everyone in this chat became a millionaire right now, I guarantee you they won't have enemies. How many? One in the chat if you'd forgive everyone you're pissed at right now. So you can't imagine you're a millionaire, so it's going to be very hard for you to go there. But if you imagine the level of forgiveness you could bring, you could forgive everyone as a millionaire. So now play it backwards. Forgive them in your heart, like the Bible says, and have faith in that imagination, have faith in that forgiveness. And if you have faith in that, like think of all the atheists that God has rewarded, like Floyd Mayweather. He had faith to an image where he's the best. So God's like, you have faith in that image, there's your blessings. Faith is all you need. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, like there's a lot of religious guys that get these blessings. But now check this out. Imagine trying to be a millionaire with that baggage of being mad at people and stuff. Because people don't understand your thoughts are not like one thought a day like this. It's a pyramid of underlying four different thoughts. So, for example, this is the first thought, you want your crush. Here's the second thought it's built on, you can't have your crush. Here's the third thought, she once said something negative about you. And then you go lower in the pyramid. So if thoughts are built like pyramids, like Pythagoras said, I'm thinking to myself, wow, when you try and change your perception of your identity, yourself, self is everything. It's like fucking infinite power. The spirit dwells within. When you try and change that and you change the top of the pyramid and say, I'm a millionaire, well, you don't feel like a millionaire. So how are you going to make the moves to be an active millionaire? How do you feel like a millionaire? Well, a millionaire would forgive whoever the fuck is pissing you off because you're just having too much fun being a millionaire. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, if you can change that feeling in every single part of your life, this is called reconciling all opposites. All opposite, all duality. You reconcile it. If you can do that for everything, mental illness would be cured. But now check this out. It's not the feeling that's hard to get into. It's the charge. The charge is the up and down. So if you feel an emotional charge, it comes with a dip. Where does that emotional charge come from? External triggers. Every single external trigger you have, I swear to God, you wouldn't have them if you unfollowed everyone. If you unfollow 1,000 channels, you will not have external triggers that charge your mood up and down. So you can stay at that baseline feeling of a millionaire and go to bed with it. And the secret of Golgotha will be explained to you. Golgotha means the fucking skull. That's what it means. And it's all written in the Bible too. Or these manifestation coaches that are scammers, they're not telling you how to hold on to the Song of Solomon, the soul of man. They're not telling you. In my head, I'm thinking, anytime I've ever went to the next level, it was a new I am. Not someone I couldn't recognize, but someone that felt cool and forgave people. Every time you go to the next level, you forgive people. You've never gone to the next level on some vengeful shit.
I would imagine those are you're not even forgiving them. You just sort of you move on. Like there isn't.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
You're not doing
You're
it.
not getting it. You're not getting it. Can you forgive someone by looking them in the eyes and saying, I forgive you? Of course not. You forgive them in the imagination. What you in your imagination say, yeah. So that internal, external you talk about, in my head, I'm like, that's why we have imaginations. That's why. Think of all of our negative imaginations with that guy who pissed us off from work. It's always something like getting back at him and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa, to correct all of your thought loops, God just said, if you stay on the frequency of loving your neighbor, you're good. But I'm like, and now here's the weird part. Because in the Bible says, if you're mad, be mad, but don't slip out of character. And I'm like, well, be mad. You're allowed to yell. Okay, that's awesome. But you cannot. But yeah, you cannot actually change into another character. Or everything is about everything's about evolution, not devolution. You devolve when you're petty and angry. And I have a feeling immigrants are petty and have never forgiven someone in their imagination. But I look at some of these Christian white guys. There is, because when you forgive someone, it's not cherries and rainbows and flowers. It's neutral behavior. And you rarely ever see neutral behavior in humans. And when you see neutral behavior, it's so attractive, right? Like if you see Trump go, they ask him about Hillary, and he goes, yeah, I mean, we had a good run, we had a good battles. When you see neutral behavior, you respect Trump. But when you see like, oh, she's a cheater, she's this, she's that, you kind of feel like, oh, this guy's a little bitch right now, right? And I'm like, damn, the biggest misconception of Christianity, they ignore the part where it says be angry, but don't fall out of character. The biggest misconception is that the world is not, like the Jews were all right about this part, bro. The world is not good and bad. That means when you forgive someone, it's not flowers time. It's just neutral. Because before you were mad at them, you were not happy with them. You're just neutral with them. So I'm like, damn, you cannot see humans ever.
That's the fucking point.
The point is that the good and bad, if you go to, okay, I forgive you, here's flowers, that's a pendulum. Now you're going to the bad. Now flowers good and bad. And if everything corresponds like that, the law of correspondence, if everything's a pendulum, then you being overly charitable to one person means you're going to be overly angry when they don't return the favor. You have to stay at neutral.
Correct.
You have to stay neutral for most of your thoughts if you want to be sane. And if you look at someone who has zero mental illness, Jack, it's a dude in the middle. It's never this lovey-dovey fucking homo, and it's never
Well,
some
here's something
angry guy.
interesting to your point, Zerka. Do you know what game theory is? Are you familiar? Game theory is this.
Bro, I'm a
this idea that-
philosopher. I'm 10
It's
times more
philosophy,
intelligent than
it's
you people.
philosophy,
Come on.
it's
One in the chat if I'm a
philosophy.
genius.
How many times would you have interrupted me if I went on for 20 fucking minutes?
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm spizzing
What
right
was I
now.
saying?
Like, I should write a book. Like, I'll tell you this.
Hurry up and
Why,
write
why,
something like
why E doesn't feel this is because he's in the middle of the pendulum. He doesn't swing too far to the left or the right, so he's the most sane guy I know. And he's like wing zero. You know, has a bit of everything, the Gundam, right? But then if you're a fucking death scythe who only's got close range,
Why?
bro, I'm telling you, if you're not in the middle of your pendulum, then your charity is going to immediately morph into darkness because they're not going to return the favor. How many times, one in the chat, you've done something for someone and you go, man, I hope he felt how much I thought of this president and stuff, and they never return the favor, and then you get angry at them. That's why are you getting angry at them? If you kept
Yeah,
it
that part
neutral, you would have
shouldn't even
preserved the
matter.
fucking relationship.
The response shouldn't even matter. You should do things according to your identity. If you see yourself as somebody who's willing to make sacrifices for family and friends, then you should do it for the sake of your own being,
Yeah.
regardless of what.
And
they're
that's the
doing.
word.
Even if
That's-
they're even
that's